Hello everybody. Can everybody hear me? Is everything okay? A little warm up with Joe Morello's Table of Time. Up to groupings of 6 at 72 for about a minute, 2 minutes maybe. Here we go. Okay, hello everybody, how are you? Welcome and interact in the chat. Say hello, any questions? Today I want to work on triplets and some stick control formulas. Can everybody hear me and everything is okay? Hi, how are you? You are from... This is your first time here, correct? Okay, stick control formulas. I just love the brilliance of George Lawrence Stone, and so does everyone else that appreciates brilliance. That's George Lawrence Stone. Okay, so let's take the first line. Oh, okay. Yay, how are you doing? You sound really nice the other day. That was very nice. And you had a good teacher, Mike. Very funky drummer, very musical. Great drummer. And you could come to my studio when you're in America anytime you'd like. Very good. Okay, so what this is about, this particular platform, is only one surface platform because I don't have the drum set up. I have the drum set set up, but I don't have the mic and the mics rather, and the camera and the system on. We're doing some reconstruction, and we'll be open again in the month of September. In the meantime, I'm going to be doing lessons Monday. I'm going to take you off the screen here. I'm going to put another screen on, I think. Hold on. Oh. I'm going to put a screen on here to show you what the schedule is for the month of... Where did it go? There you go. For the month of August. That's not it. There we go. Now, you're going to lose me for a second, and what we're going to have, that's not it. There you go. Now this is the schedule for lessons for Tuesday. I mean for YouTube. For the month of August, we have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you'd like the PDFs for the lesson, all you need to do is email me and I'll send them to you. And I'll put you on my mailing list as well. So let me just put my email in there. Hold tight. Okay, so if you email me, I'll give you the agenda for the rest of the month and send you some PDF sheets for the lesson. And I'll also add you on to, can't talk this morning, my emailing list. So let's get right to the lesson. There's a couple other people listening and or watching, and I really wish that they would say hello and how are you and all that good stuff. Okay, but anyway, let me put the other screen back on. Okay, here we go. There you go, we're back. Okay, so, like I said, we're going to take a formula. And we have the sticking sequences. For example, the first line is just right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So what I do is I come up with a formula. And I make R become something, and L becomes something. The R, in this case, what we're going to do with a formula today, is we're going to loosen up a little bit. We're going to make the R equal 3 rights, and the L equal 3 lefts. So with that sequence, if I have the first right, left sequence, and the way I count triplets would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's the way I count triplets. That's the sequence of events that are occurring on line 1. It's just, I'm taking the right, taking the left. Right, left, right, left. 1 and 2 and nice and relaxed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, with the second line, you're starting with the left. So let's just go right to the third line, where we have 2 rights and 2 lefts. Now I count the triplets, before I go any further, 2 different ways. I count a triplet as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for subdivisional reasons I'll break the triplet down to 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, some people count 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and that's okay. That's not incorrect. If that works for you, that's great. For me, I don't like that system. I don't like that method. And there's a couple other methods out there where they're counting 1 ta-ta, 2 ta-ta, 3 ta-ta, 4 ta-ta, or 1 ta-ti, la-ti, or whatever. And that's okay. If that works, go with it. Me, I prefer to count the triplet 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, so let's get back to the formula. We established the way I'm counting the triplet. And we're going to go to line 3, which is 2 rights and 2 lefts. Okay, now, that's going to be right, right, left, left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to go to line 5, which is right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Now remember the formula. R becomes 3 rights, L becomes 3 lefts. So I'm going to do line 5. 1 and, nice and slow, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and slow. And 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice my hands are coming down. My right hand and my left hand are coming down from the same spot. So theoretically, if they're coming down from the same height, they should all sound the same. I'm just throwing the stick down, she comes right back. Now, that's a full stroke position or a free stroke. Do we all understand this, gentlemen? Do we have any questions on this so far? I'm not using the metronome yet, but I will be. Is there any questions? Just put yes, Y for yes, N for no. Now this is only one dimensional. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. On one surface. One voice. So, what I like to do, depending on when I first start, when I warm up somewhat, if I'm warmed up, let's just say I'm not warmed up, I'm going to take the stick and do it full stroke. It's the free stroke position, the full stroke position. I'm playing free strokes. So I'll take that slow. Let's go to 60. That's my quarter note. 1, 2. I'm going to do line 1, 4, 1, 2, 3. They're high. I'm relaxing, warming up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. So I do that for a while. I'll do line 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang. Now, if I want to play a little faster, I'm going to lower my stick somewhat because, I mean, I do have time to have the stick come up here, but that's like a workout. So let's take it to 100, from 60 to 100, and we're going to lower the sticking position. About right here. We're taking it from here now, so we're going to play it a little faster. We're going to take it from maybe the half stroke position. We'll do 100. 1, 2. Do line 1. 1, 2, 3. Look at the stick heights. They're coming down from the same spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Line 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's a pretty nice exercise to relax. It's a fun exercise. We're not in a contest, and it's not a sporting event, so it doesn't matter how fast you play it. Actually, it takes a lot more control to play something like this slowly. We're not playing any structure of a tune. It's just a hand exercise to loosen up and to relax your muscles in your wrist and in your arms. So, that was one dimensional. When I say one dimensional, I mean only one voice. Now, next month, in September, I'm going to open up my site occasionally for free, unless you want to become a member. And I'm going to demonstrate what I just did on a drum set application. The drum set application is now we're going to make this two-dimensional, meaning we're going to use two different voices. And in this case, we're going to substitute, instead of using the right, we're going to use the bass drum. Now you really can't hear it. I'm going to pound the bass drum. We can hear that, correct? Guys, can we hear that? 1. Can we hear that, gentlemen? All right, so if I did the first line with that substitution thing, now this is now two-dimensional. So I'm going to play line 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Can we hear that? 1, 2. The bass drum. Okay. Go to line 3. 2 rights, 2 lefts. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a coordination exercise. I'm giving my bass drum and my left hand a workout. Okay? And that's two-dimensional, using two different voices. The three-dimensional would be I would add another voice. In this case, I'm building up to the end result. In this case, I would use my hi-hat on the counts of 2 and 4, the heel and toe method. The heel is on 1 and 3, my toe is on 2 and 4. So I'm using heel, comes up down like this, toe, brings it down. Heel, toe, heel, toe. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. So now I'm going to play, say, line 1, three-dimensional. I'm going to play all the R's with the bass drum, all the L's will remain on the snare drum with the left hand, and I'm adding now my hi-hat. I'm going to go 1, 2, I'm going to pound, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I do line 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, right, left, left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's a mechanical exercise. That's all it is. Absolutely. No, that's a time function. You know, I just gave a lesson a half hour ago, and we were working on some jazz patterns, and he was having a problem with the left foot. He was getting the left foot, the chick on 2 and 4, and that's okay. That's not incorrect. But when I play, I like to hit that 1, the heel. That's giving me time. 2, the toe. 3, 4. So actually, I'm actually playing off of the hi-hat. You know, everybody says the bass drum is the timekeeper. Well, everything is time, but I'm referencing my time from that chick. Down, tap. Down, closed. Up, closed. That's giving me a solid pulse. What is this? Okay, good. A septic, cerepic, I guess. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. We'll just call you Mike, okay? All right. So that's what we're going. That does definitely give me a take on it. That makes my time solid because I'm referencing off that heel, toe. 1, 2. I'm not humming a melody. I'm just thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I just did was I played the third line three-dimensional: bass drum, snare drum, and hi-hat. So I'm going 1, 2, heel, toe. That gives me 1, 2. This is line 1. I'm sorry. Line 3, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I don't want to spend a lot of time, but I'm going to give you one more, and this should be taught definitely on the drum set. What we're going to do now is we're going to add another voice, which would be the ride cymbal. We're going to take the ride cymbal, and when I first started, I thought I was a hot shot, and I still think sometimes I'm a hot shot, but I'm not. I'm just one kind of humble person, always learning and always trying to improve. But I never forget, and it did make me stop and back up and correct it. When I was studying with Joe Morello, he asked me to go behind the drum set and play a little bit for him. And that was, as a matter of fact, that drum set that I was playing on, if you're on YouTube and you're listening to Brubeck with the Take 5, well, that drum solo, the drums he was using for his broadcast or his video was the same drum set that was in the studio. Perfectly tuned. Great drum set. And I sat down and I started hotshot playing a jazz time. Now, I wasn't playing an open time. I wasn't playing anything melodic. I wasn't improvising or comping. I was just playing straight ahead. Now, when I was playing straight ahead, and I was doing a lot of, I guess you can call them cover tunes at that time, playing 6-7 nights a week. And, you know, the same tunes, you know, by Sly and the Family Stone, Chicago, and it was always a hard kind of rock, 2 and 4. Anyway, when I'm playing the jazz time, when I started to play, I was going pop. Listen to the right hand. It was a heavy 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3. It sounded terrible. So one thing he pointed out to me was, you want to drop the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to make that sound consistent if you're playing straight ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass drum on 4 right now. 1, 2. And notice my right stick, with my cymbal stick, if you want to call it, it's coming down from the same spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to maintain that sound. Okay? So now, there's a movement in here, I think triplets, 1 and 2 and 3, but the stick is coming down from the same spot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now I want to do the push. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Listen to my quarter note. The movement is free stroke, down, up, free stroke, down, up, quarter note, down, up, quarter note, down. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me the consistency. What's gone? Let me turn my Skype off. 1 second, gentlemen. Sorry. Sorry about the disruption. But anyway, what I'm doing, I'm playing the 4 quarter notes, constant, the same. My stick is at the same height on the right cymbal. Ding, 2, 3, 4. So I get that pulse. My 2 and 4, my 1 and 3 on the high with the heel, 2 and 4 closed with the toe, and wherever I'm going to play my bass drum or play my left hand, it's there without disrupting that flow of the quarter note. So I changed it to 1, 2 when I'm playing straight ahead. I'm not playing a melody right now. I'm just demonstrating the straight ahead time. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba da ba boom. Now it sounds a little mechanical, and it's supposed to sound mechanical at this point because we're not playing a tune. I'm just giving you the mechanics of the straight ahead time. With that formula, we're going to do the 4-dimensional. Now we already established and we substituted, we did the first dimensional, which was this. Okay, 2-dimensional was the substitution. Instead of me using my right hand for the triplet, I'm going to use my bass drum, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I added my left foot, which made it 3-dimensional. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the 4. 1 and 2. Here we go. 3 now. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what that does, that makes stick control book a lot more fun. Okay? And is everything gone with the Skype now? Everything's off. I shut my Skype down. That was my mistake. Before I turned the broadcast on, I should have shut it down and I didn't, so thank you and whatever. It should not happen again. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now, we're playing the jazz time. Now you see the Jim Chapin book, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's just the mechanics. It's very mechanical. Don't really swing. You know, the second line I think is 1, 2. Third. so on and so forth. Now, I did go through the Jim Chapin book, and I really don't use the Jim Chapin book no more. Okay? And what I do is I use formulas for the stick control book. And what inspired me to do that was Gary Shafee's books, the time functions, how he breaks up the triplet. And I use those breakup triplets, I guess you can call them, as formulas against the jazz time, making the bass drum and the snare drum and so on and so forth. Now, come up with a ton of different formulas, and it really helps the coordination. Doing the stick control book with these formulas has not only helped me, but it's made great progress for my students. So I go through maybe 5 to 10 different formulas using this straight ahead time between the bass drum and the snare drum and different elements of the hi-hat. And then I put them in the Jim Chapin book. Guess what, man? They go right through it. Bam! Right through it. And then their attitude is, what's so hard about this? Now, nothing about the Jim Chapin book. It's a great book. It's iconic in the drum community. He did a lot for the drummers with that book. But what really, I think, made the book was the visuals or the graphics. He broke it all down. He did a magnificent job. And it's something I don't really use because, in my opinion, and I mean this with all respect, and I don't, no disrespect at all, but the book really don't swing. It has the mechanics in it. So I just took some of his ideas and Gary Shafee's ideas and put them to stick control book, George Lawrence Stone, with my ideas. And now I got a whole lot of messing with them. And it really has helped me a lot. It helped my students. And like I said, when September comes, I'm going to invite everyone to come on over to the site. We'll do some drum set application as what I'm talking about today. Does that sound good to everybody? Well, okay, that's a good question. You know, you're looking at notation, you know, the manuscripts of swing. You know, and here comes a good discussion. Well, it's not that it should be practiced repetitive. Let's back up here. Let me answer one question first. You know, the term groove, I want to bring that into view here, gets misused. I feel it gets used a lot. Somebody, you know, will say, well, you don't groove, or I'm going to teach you to groove. Well, let's talk about that. Number one, here's my opinion. No one can teach you to groove, period. A teacher can show you the mechanics, you can write out patterns, but nobody can teach you to groove. When you sit behind your drum set and you're going to play a tune, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, hello groove. That's where the groove begins, through experience of listening and playing with others. That's how you develop a groove. Now, to get to the question, here's the question. Is it possible to learn the essence of swing from manuscripts alone? Well, swing is swing, man. You're playing a tune, you're going to swing. We're talking about a few varieties of swing, whether it's a straight ahead swing, an open kind of swing, or a free feel kind of swing. As long as you're in time, you're fine. Okay? As far as the mechanics and looking at it, and it's the manuscript is showing you, well, this is a triplet against the jazz time. It's showing it to you, and it's making you understand it, and it's going to help you get to where you want to go. I'm not playing any open time. Example, if somebody calls me and says, listen, I want you to play the weekend with our band. It's a big band. Can you read? I say yes. Okay, so they want me to go and play with them and read the chart. Now, most big band charts are just road maps to take people in from the sections A to B to C to repeat, so on and so forth. And that's where that left foot does come in handy. and I'm leading the trumpet sections in. I'm hitting the trumpets, and there's no kind of chart to really read note for note. It's just you're playing straight ahead. Now, when you're playing a straight ahead gig like that, this is what they're counting on: 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Straight ahead. They want to hear that, and they also want to hear that 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. Not a rock pattern, but they want to hear that chick. That's where basically most of the time comes from. Okay, so I'm making the hits. Like, for example, let's say you, Vadim, is that how you pronounce your name? I believe Vatmitan, or I'm sorry if I can't pronounce it. What happens is, just say you and I get the same gig, and you're playing the first half and I'm playing the second half, and we're going to do the same charts, and we're reading the same charts. Okay, you go up there and you play the tune, and you have that roadmap. You're leading the sections, the trumpets, the trombones, the saxes, section to section, and that's where another drumming language fills. It's not fills, it's lead-ins. I'm playing time for 8 measures, and I'm going to lead the next section in. I'm setting them up. So that's called a lead-in. All right? If you were playing the first half, like I said, and I was playing the second half, you and I can do the same tunes, read the same charts, but we will sound different. Why is that? We'll make the hits, and we'll do the lead-ins. But why are you sounding different than I if we're doing the same chart? I've given you a question. Now, while you're thinking of that and want to write it out, here's another one, another question. What you're saying is less exercises, but good ones that are repetitive in nature should be practiced as a routine. That makes sense. The routine is the routine, and there's so much to do. It's so hard to maintain a routine. I try to stay within the routine, at least an hour a day. And it's an exercising routine. It's like anything else. If you do mixed martial arts, or you do sports like football or wrestling or whatever, there's certain things that you do to stay in shape. You do sit-ups, push-ups, you do jogging, you don't smoke, you stay in shape so you can perform the game. You're playing football, you're in shape to play football. You're a drummer, and it's not a sport now, but we're exercising our limbs so we can use them. That's a good answer. Let me get back to that. It's you're staying in shape. That's what practicing exercises are. We're not playing structures of tunes or melodies. Now, as far as field swing time, a little different. Well, time is time. The distance between 1, 2, 3, and 4 is time. Okay? What you do between 1, 2, 3, and 4 is entirely up to you. Now, that's your interpretation of the field. I'm talking about a straight ahead time, not an improvisation like I'm playing with a quartet or trio or whatever, whereas I'm playing my instrument as does the piano player or the bass player or the sax player or the trumpet player. I don't have to lay down a swing unless I'm being paid to do that. I'm playing the tune the way I hear it. I am having a conversation with the other musicians without losing the feel. You're in the groove there with the other musicians. All right, you're thinking melody constantly, melody, 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 and everybody should be in the same place. And by that, you're inside, you're having a conversation, and you're actually swinging. So there's no interpretation of that open kind of time or the improv or what they say comping. There's nothing like that. It's you doing the tune, your interpretation of the tune, not the swing. I'm just throwing down a straight ahead swing and showing you the mechanics of the swing and how to play against it and exercise against it. When I sit and play a trio, I don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'm humming the tune. Ba do boo dee bee do do bee do do down. I'm humming. I'm off to see the wizard. But I'm in time. And another thing, you know, drummers get their bad rap. It's your job to keep time. Well, okay. If I'm playing a big band and I'm being paid to drop time down, I'm being paid to do that. When I'm in a trio or quartet or quintet or whatever, I'm playing the melody. I'm keeping everybody together. I am also playing melodically. I'm developing some ideas. I'm answering some ideas. I'm having a conversation. That's how you're not changing the subject. All right, you know, it's like I have a ton of books here. I mean, it's like a bookstore. And I really don't take a book from cover to cover. I'll look at them, you know, and I'll say, okay, this is cool. But there's certain things I know from playing a million years that I'm weak at. And that's where I practice. Now, if it's a beginner student, you want to practice things that are going to help you. And that's why you have to seek out a teacher. A good teacher. A good teacher gives you prescriptions to aid you and help you develop your weaknesses. Just remember, a good teacher will expose to you your weaknesses and give you that prescription to make that weakness stronger. And once you get that stronger, there's a whole array of things that become stronger. And that's what it's about, man. It's like, you know, I have X amount of students, and I don't teach them all the same because they all have different needs. The one thing that I dislike when somebody says, I want you to teach me this. I want to play like that. Well, what I do is I stand up and show them where the exit is. What I do is when I teach, I give the student what I feel he needs to become who he wants to be. All right, he can be anything he wants. We all learn differently. You know, we have entry points of learning. You know, some people could understand 1 + 1 = 2, boom. And some people have to think about it. It's just human nature. You know, I mean, I'm just using that as a goofy thing, but I understand what you're talking about. It's everybody's different, and everybody needs to have a good teacher to prescribe a prescription to make them better. And a good teacher will squeeze your creativity out of you. Because in the end, I mean, you learn, for example, this is a free stroke. It's actually it's a free stroke in a full stroke position. But man, you know, that's what it's called. Like you look at a car and you see it has tires. You call that's a tire. But when you're playing with a band, whether it's a progressive rock band, a fusion band, a jazz band, whatever it might be, it's you and the music. And there is actually no right or there's no wrong. If you're being paid to play a certain way, well, if you accept the gig and you say, okay, I'm going to do that, well, that's what you need to do. If you're doing an artistic thing and you're going to play with the trio or quartet or quintet or whatever to improvise, well, man, you know, that's what you're going to do, man. You're going to have a conversation with all the dudes that you're playing with, musically, and humming the melody. And number 1, number 2, or 3, or whatever I was on, I totally refuse to play time for another musician. Oh yeah, I'm a drummer, but I'm supposed to be keeping time. I'm playing music, it's in time. Well, when the sax player is playing music, he has to play in time. Okay, I agree with that. I should repeat the questions because this is being recorded. As a matter of fact, all these lessons are being recorded and they're up on YouTube. And if you want to see or listen to it again, or if you missed something, just go to YouTube. And the way I label it is, for example, what's today's date? The 3rd, I think. Yeah. August the 3rd, 1 p.m. Simple. You want us to hit it? Boom. Just go up into the search box and put, the name of the lesson, and it'll come up. I have basically all of them recorded. And that's really nice, Mike. You're asking a lot of questions. That's very good. And whether it's right or wrong, I mean, that's how I feel. Some people might disagree with me. There's the commercialized way of teaching, or there's, I feel, the correct way of teaching. But the whole thing is, you're learning the language, you're learning the mechanics of rhythm. What you do with it is you, the artist, your own voice. Boy, I'm talking and talking, I'm not doing anything. I guess if talking is helping, that would be cool. Is that all right? Anyway, anything that I've done so far with the triplets and playing against the jazz time, that's where I left it from the substitution to four-dimensional. Do we have any questions on that? Being self-taught, let me address that. Self-taught, we're all self-taught in a lot of ways other than music. Just by tapping your foot listening to a tune, you're not incorrect, you're in time. Now, by watching somebody and you try to duplicate that, that's playing a cover tune. Absolutely, Mike, you can get them definitely to those 2 points quicker. But like yesterday I had a student here, he just loves to exercise, loves to do the stick control book, and we do play-alongs. So the other day I put in a couple James Brown and Miles Davis, Night and Day. Okay? And he hit both of them, and he hit them well. Now I asked him to write it out. He wouldn't be able to write it out right now, but eventually he will. That's learning the language and understanding what you do. When you understand what you do, there's only one place to go, and that's forward. Because you know what you're doing. And you can analyze it, you can dissect it, make it stronger, make it better, and more artistic. It's simple. Okay, so we understand that. I'm going to give one more formula. And this is, we're going to go right to the four-dimensional kind of thing. All right, so it's difficult to do it on the drum pads. Like I said, next month I'll invite everybody occasionally to my site where I do the drum set, the applications of these things. Occasionally. I'm still going to maintain the Tuesdays at 1 and 8, in addition to my site, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I will open it up, without a doubt. Well, reading, first off, let's talk about the reading. Why do you learn how to read? Well, I learned how to read to understand the language and the math. Not that I want to ever do a Broadway show, but right now I've been at a point where you can throw it in front of me, so I read it down for you because of my age and all the experience I have with reading. But let's go back, a couple centuries ago, when I first started to learn how to read. I believe the first book that I did was the Haskell Horror book. And it was a local drum teacher who was actually a car salesman trying to pick up some extra money, who was in a band, had a couple of gigs a month. Well, that's okay. And I kind of looked up to him a whole lot. It was my first drum teacher. And he taught me how to read the Haskell Horror book 1, then I went to Haskell Horror book 2, then the Syncopation book, and then I quit and went to somebody else. You get a book, you open it up, and you go from cover to end. That's it. Well, that's not it. I have a couple reading texts that I put together myself, 4-4 and 6-8, which is basic. But now, I take reading to another dimension. And this is what I call the fun dimension. What I do is I use a 4-limb coordination to read. Now, we're not talking about 9-stroke rolls and rolling over to the 1. We're talking, for example, the Syncopation book, or one of my books, or the Louis Belson reading text from 4-4, or even the stick control book could be also used as a reading book. So let's take, for example, and I'm going to try to demonstrate this as best as I can with what I have. I'm not going to take a line from Syncopation, unless everybody here has the Syncopation book handy. Do we have the Syncopation book handy, gentlemen? All I need is a Y for yes and an N for no. If not, I'll do a figure on the drum pad. For example, let's go 1, 2, and 3 E and the 4 N. Now I'm reading that on one surface. That's on the page or whatever I'm reading. And so I know how to read it. Now what? Go to the next page. Then finish that page, go to the next page, till I finish it, and go to the next book. Okay, hit him up on that. The reading, there was no real question. If you could hook everybody up to that, that would be cool. However you do that, do it. I'll get the Syncopation book. You have the book. Okay, good. All right, anyway, being that you're here, Vaden, what we're going to do, I got to remind everybody, this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mike's going to be back in the studio here with me, sitting next to me, and we're going to talk about different concepts, different hand exercises and techniques and so on and so forth. So if you have time Sunday, come on and check it out. All right, so we have the Syncopation book. Let's go to a simple, we're not going to swing anything. Let's just take, let's go to page 20. No, not 20. Oh. Let's take a little something a little different. Excuse me a second, hold guys. Absolutely, all of us. It's free to everybody. It's a complimentary thing that Mike suggested, and we're going to do it. Mike's a good guy, man. That guy plays. Unbelievable. Unreal. And he's so humble. Okay, good. Let's go to the Syncopation book. Let's go to page 32. It's a 48-bar exercise. Now, I'm not going to teach anybody how to read right now, but I'm going to take the first two measures. Everybody familiar with the first two measures? Everybody have the page open? Now, there's a couple different editions here. There's the first, second, and third edition. I have the second edition. I'm going to play the first two measures, and let's see if we're all on the same page. Because the first edition, it might be a page behind. On the third edition, God, who knows? They got pictures of Vinny Colaiuta, Steve Gadd, Neil Peart, all that good stuff. They destroy a good product. Okay, you can read it. Okay, good. That's good. Now, there's really nothing to read. It's just mathematical. And it's in C, it's C, which is common time, which means 4/4. I'm not going to go into any definitions. I'm just going to play the first two measures on one surface. I'll play it with one hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, when I learned that, I learned how to alternate that. Okay? That's at the top of the page. The first two measures. Now, what I do, it's not a very difficult thing to read, because I take this all over the place. I do the paradiddle thing like Alan Dawson and what. We're not going to go there. Just let me show you one of my methods, which I learned from one of my friends, who is actually a very well-known rock drummer. Dennis Lee Fang, if anybody knows him. And he did a live show for me a couple years back, and he did this, and I said, wow, that's a great thing to do, and it's a fun thing, and it's extremely productive, and you need to focus in on it. I'm going to start off very simple with this, and I'm going to play, I'm in 4. I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now while I'm on the drum set, I'm going to use my rise cymbal, my snare drum, my bass drum, and my hi-hat. Now sorry about me pounding this, I just want you to hear it. So what I'm going to do, is I'm going to play quarter notes on the rise cymbal, the snare drum, the bass drum, and the hi-hat, all in unison. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to play those 2 measures, but this time I'm going to say, okay, I want my right hand to play the 2 measures against the quarter notes. I'm going to continually play the first 2 measures. Unless, all right, let me play the whole line over and over again. So I'm going to play 1. I'm going to say, okay, right hand, you're going to play that while I'm playing quarter notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and, oh, sorry, whoa. Oh, man. Sorry, gentlemen. 1 and 2 and, make the left hand play it. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Now what I did is I kept quarter notes going with the bass drum, the hi-hat, and the rise cymbal, and I assigned that line to my left hand. Now I can also play that with another voice while I'm doing quarter notes. I'm going to do quarter notes, rise cymbal, snare drum, and hi-hat. And I'm going to play the line, you can't really hear it with the bass drum. I'm going to try to do it and pound it. This is something that should be taught on the drum set because you're reading plus developing control of your limbs and playing against the pattern, which is, I think, very cool. So I'm going to play the bass drum now. 1 and 2 and here we go, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. I'm sorry, 4. I get very confused looking at the screen plus doing the drum pad. It's not flamming, but that's what you need to do on a drum set. I will open up the site. That's just one of the different ways of learning how to read. I mean, you have to learn how to read it on one surface and the math. You know, you understand that if I add up all, for example, the first measure, if I add up all of the eighth notes, the eighth note rest, I have 8 eighth notes. You reduce that, you have one whole, which is 4/4. Any one measure here, excuse me, any one measure here, if you add it up, you reduce it to your result, and you're going to get a whole, which is 4. Now, we're not going to play syncopation yet. We're not do syncopation. I like to swing it. All right, let me go to page 33. Ding, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to play it against jazz time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, 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 da, ba. Now, I'm mechanically doing that. I really don't want to, I got to close up, as a matter of fact. Well, it's not so much that. I could take, it's developing your creativity is what I refer to it as. It's not pimping. But I like that. That's a good one, Mr. Mike. Very good. What I do is, that's part of the creating. I mean, I could take this and play it with one hand and fill in with the triplets just another way. Let's go to page 33. 1 and, I'm going to play the line, the first measure. 1 and 2 and 3. Then I'm going to fill in. 1 filled it in with the triplet. It's just so that I can play with, I know you're kidding, Mike. It's just a fun thing, and everybody's happy, and everybody's learning. It's just a nice thing to do, man. Okay, anyway, listen. What I need to do, Renzo, when'd you get here? What I'm going to be doing again, I'm going to do another lesson tonight, which will conclude the first week. And like I said, if everybody gets on my email, I'll send you some PDFs, and I'll send you the agenda for the next 3 weeks with PDFs. So if you just want to do that, that would be good. Renzo, I have your email. Okay, Mike, just email me. You have my email address, and everyone else. And how's India? How are we doing in India? Man, that must have been a heck of a plane ride for you. Hope you get your job, Mr. Mike. You need to survive. I worked hard, and I'm pretty fortunate to have this as my job. Yeah, so is it here. It's about 105 degrees and very humid. But anyway, do you have my email? Okay, I appreciate everybody coming. If you want to come back at 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time, come on down and we'll hang out. We'll have a grand old time. Okay, gentlemen? So I'm going to need... Okay, that'll be fine. I'm going to need to sign off right now. Okay, I have a student coming in less than 10 minutes. Oh. So everybody have a good time. See you tonight. Before I leave though, let me give you this. That's the lesson times coming up. Here it comes. Such a delay. There's your lesson times for the month of August. And this is all free for the month of August. Like I said, my other site is down. And I will have it up and running again as of September. And I will give everybody the, address. So gentlemen, have a good rest of the day. And please, if you like, come on back tonight. Have a good day.